Hey guys, I'd like to do a video on how I shape my bow handles. And so this is kind of what a finished product looks like for me. I like a pistol grip, um, a little bit of a shallow one. I also like to have the inside of the handle kind of swelled up a little bit so that it kind of fills my palm. I also like to have these facets on top and bottom. I think that kind of makes the handle pop. Everything feels good. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with a blank basically and draw the lines on for you that I use for reference lines, and then I'll take a rasp and a scraper primarily and shape this whole thing out so you can at least see the process that I go through. So anyway, hang in there with me and I'll get started. All right, I'm going to put these lines on here. I've got them in real faint with a pencil, and that's what I normally would use. I don't like using a Sharpie on these, but I want you to be able to see it. And so basically it's just a real shallow arc right here. If you make it real deep, you have to remove a lot of extra wood that I don't think is necessary. And so this is this on the other side. All right, so I'm gonna flip that over and mark the other side, and then we'll get this thing clamped in so I can start with the rasp on it. Okay, so let me give you a clue where I'm going with this before I actually start rasping. What my intention is to rasp down to this line, always going this direction, not running the rasp across this way because it could chip out. And so I'll do that on this side, and I'll do that also on this side. And what we're gonna see is it will leave an impression, something like this in the middle. This wood will come out first, and so we'll be taking it up from the sides, and then there'll be a peak in the middle that we can work across, and we may work it, do that a couple of times until we get it nice and smooth there. So so now I'll get it in the vise and I'll start rasping. It'll be more clear. Okay, I'm going to try to do the work here without totally blocking what you can see. And yeah, I get right down. I feel like I do a better job if I'm kind of eye level with the work. So I put it in the clamp. I suppose if I had a taller clamp, it'd be better off. The rasp I'm using is a really aggressive one. If there's a number on it, I don't know what it is. But it's a really nice aggressive rasp. And like I said, we're going to go up this direction. I've clamped it like this so I can do both of these at the same time, and then turn them around and then come up from the other direction. Now that's down to my line right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to work that across a little bit. You can see it's kind of come out with that pattern there. Okay, so I'm going to do this other side, and then I'll flip it around. I'm going to give you a break from watching the grunt here for a minute. All right, so I've got it turned around. I'm going to attack it from this other side now. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm going to do this other side, and then I'll get a kind of a cabinet scraper to help clean this up. All right, I moved you guys around to this side instead of over here. I think I can give you a better look at it this way. And so what I'm going to do is basically we have these big rasp marks in there that we have to clean up and make smooth. And so what I use for that is I like a 4-way rasp. And I use the more of the file side, kind of the rounded part, and that seems to take the bulk of those grooves out of there. So I'm going to do that real quick. There you go, that's pretty close. So to get these lines out of here, I mean, a cabinet scraper would be great. I guess you could call it a homemade cabinet scraper. This is just a recip saw blade with the back edge sharpened, and I'm not a good sharpener of a cabinet scraper, but these are pretty efficient. And so the other thing about these, you can bend them a little bit and get them into some smaller spaces than you can with this big one. And so I'll stand up here and scrape this down. Works really well. And you can almost take some of these lines out right here just by going across them some more. But so again, it'll take just a little bit more work, but in pretty short order, we've got this nice contour right here, and it's down pretty smooth, and we can proceed with our handle from there. So I'll get this other side done, and then I'll show you kind of what my next deal is to get the handle going. All right, so now we got both the fade outs cleaned out good, and we have real nice contour from the top of the handle down into the limb. And so the next thing that we're going to tackle is to get this part. Again, just a rounded handle is a perfectly legitimate handle. It's functional. You can make it as comfortable as you want. I like the looks of having a facet on either end of these, and so what I do, I'll do it. I'll make a pencil line around here, and then I'll rasp down to it. It looks like a lot, but really it's not. I have to get up over the top of it here so I can see. You want to have it run out before you get all the way down to the limb. Something like that. Okay, so we're just gonna, it doesn't take that much rasping really to get this shape. So I'll get this one, I'll put one on the other side, and then I'll reset here so I can show you the process I go through to get that rasped off of there. All right, I got my facets penciled in here, and so I'm going to start working around these with the rasp. I like to work on the other side of the bow from where I'm at, so I can put my leg up against it and keep it from bouncing around on me. And so I'll do both of these sides, and then I'll flip it around. And so same thing, you know, if you go like straight across on there, it's gonna dig in a little bit. So get it so it can start moving, and then slowly start digging into it. You'll get to this line in a hurry, and so you want to start coming across here. This is gonna meet in the middle from both sides. You'll leave this fairly thick and get a pretty good groove started on each side there. Okay, I'm going to flip that around, do the other side again. So we're just following this line around. All right, that's good for there. I'm going to flip this thing over. We're going to make some more. Okay, guys, so these reference lines on the back of the handle are really important. Again, I don't usually use a felt pen to do that, but I want you to be able to see it. So I usually make a reference line at the end of both those fade outs where the limb starts, and then I also have a line across here right where the handle is. And then I also kind of reference where the center of this handle is. And so what I'm going to be doing is, that's probably not quite right. What I'm going to be doing is knocking off those corners. And so I give myself something to go by here, right there. And then, so from right here out to here where this fade out is, it's just kind of a little gentle sweep. I mean, it's going to even look like a straight line, but you're getting just a little bit of a sweep out of it. Same thing there. And so I'm just going to go down through here and work kind of to the line. It's not meant to go straight down. It's meant to round the back of the handle and give it just a little bit more distinct shape. This part here and this part here are going to be just a little bit deeper, and the middle of the handle a little bit thicker. So at this point you can start to come down right here a little bit. Same thing on this side. Okay, so I'm going to flip it around to do the other side, and then we'll flip it back over again. Okay, so I got both sides of this done, and I'm ready to flip it over again. So I'm going to flip it over, and I've designated this as the front part of my pistol grip, so I like to have it on my left when I'm working on it. And so I always keep a little wedge here to keep things tight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start working on this contour right here. And I'll probably take these off at the same time. But I need to start working that out a little bit. The main focus is going to be to start this pistol grip, so I'm going to start making this deeper right here. Okay, so you want to lean back once in a while and keep looking at it and say, yep, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And so then you can start working across the sides a little bit. These are kind of square right there. Okay, and so at this point also what we want to do is these kind of grooves right here that we started, we want to continue with that on this side. It should kind of flare a little bit in the middle. It's getting pretty close. So I'm going to flip this around and do the other side, and then we'll spin it over again. Okay, I'm starting to like what I see from this side, so we're going to flip it over this way again and kind of put a little more definition on this back side. So again, we'll clamp it in and work on this opposite side. And I'm mostly trying to accentuate this a little bit and make sure this is a nice kind of a flare in the middle. It's okay to come into this a little bit, whether that's your backing or if you don't have a backing, but a little bit right there, you can come in. Just want it to be fairly rounded when you put your hands around it. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to flip that around here real quick. Okay. That to me is looking pretty darn good. All right, guys, the pistol grip is done being shaped. It feels good in my hand. So what I've got left to do now is go through and get all these big rasp marks out. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll get rid of these marks. I'll scrape it down and then I'll sand it, and I'll give you one more look at it. All right, so here's one more look at the handle. I've got it I got all the marks out of it, and I've got it sanded down. So again, that's what it's going to look like from the side, and that's from the belly side, and then that's what it looks like from the back. I'm not worried about the marks on this backing because I'm going to decorate that. What I'll do next, I'll do another video with the rests on here and the leather grip put on there. You might notice that I don't cut in a shelf on my bows. Matter of fact, I usually put a left one and a right one, and the rest is pretty minimal, and the way I hold on to it, my knuckle is kind of an extension of that rest, and so I've always made mine fairly small. But I'll make another video and show you how I get that rest in there, arrow plate, and how I get this handle laced on. So anyway, thanks for watching.